course, Emi Martinez has been at the centre of the partying. He says, I know that penalty shootouts are one of my strengths. Opponents respect me for that, and they have told me so. When I saved the first penalty in the World Cup final from Kingsley Coman, I knew that the other boy was going to be very nervous. I tried to play him mentally by throwing the ball away, talking to him, and he missed the goal. Frank, is Emi Martinez kind of enemy number one in France?
Well, it's more about his behavior after the World Cup, not about what he did on the field. On the field, he did what he had to do, and you know, playing with the opponent when you have to, and throwing the ball away for Tchouaméni to get it, and to make sure that he gets a little bit fragile. It's part of the game, and nobody can be resentful towards Martinez what he did on the field, because he did great, and I highly rated him. You know, when since I saw him playing first as a substitute in Arsenal, and then since he played for the Villains, you know, I always say that he's a great goalkeeper and maybe one of the best. It's only what he did after the World Cup. The comment, the puppet of MBAPPE, I don't know, that guy lost his mind. And the trophy, what he did with his own trophy as the best goalkeeper, what he did in front of the world, I mean, you lost your mind, man. You know, that's crazy, because you are a fantastic winner, and I think Argentina deserves to win. Is deserve the title of the best goalkeeper in the world. But why do you have to do that? I mean, why do you have to do that? Enjoy. Don't talk about French people. You won it. We don't care. No, I never talked about the Brazilians after the World Cup. And, you know, you just enjoy your title. Don't talk about the others. The others, they have to deal with the defeat, but they don't need you to do so.
Craig was here, he'd say goalkeepers aren't right in the head.
Well, I mean, to be fair, Emi Martinez is playing right up to that stereotype. And listen, I'm with Frank. I don't have a problem with that. If that's who you are and that's your game, then so be it. I spoke about Martinez at the final throwing the ball away and Tchouaméni having to go after it, and psychologically how I thought that played a part. Again, I don't think, while you may question, I don't think you can honestly criticize anything Emi Martinez did during the tournament. From beginning to end, he was simply outstanding. He was deserving of the Golden Glove. Everything about it, the psychology he employed during those penalty shootouts is to be admired. It really is. But I'm with Frank here. I didn't quite understand the moment of silence, as he phrased it, for MBAPPE immediately after the game in the dressing room. Keeping in mind, we're talking about a World Cup winner himself, who just scored 3 goals, who scored his penalty in the penalty shootout. I didn't understand that. But while maybe you could dismiss that as being kind of heat of the moment, emotions getting the better of you, the MBAPPE doll, even though it's a fan that threw it to him or whatever it is, but parading around with it as he did, this is days after the final, I just thought smacked of a lack of professional respect. In this game, I think you have to afford your opponent a certain level of professional respect. And Emi Martinez did not do that. Regardless of whether MBAPPE scored 1 or none or 3 or 4, as I said, I cannot respect that from Emi Martinez at all.
Go on, Frank.
Yeah, on top of it, you know, I don't know why he does that, because, yes, he won it, but we are talking about somebody who scored 4 goals against him during the game, you know. You are teasing somebody who scored 4 goals in a World Cup final against you. So that's the only part he should, you know, keep it silent, you know, and show a little bit of respect about that, you know. Yes, you won the World Cup, but MBAPPE won the World Cup as well. There's nothing that he's going to envy you about. You know, he lost 1 game, but he won the World Cup 4 years ago, and he scored 4 goals against you. So why do you pick the only one who in fight, you know, score 4 goals against you? I don't want to say the word, you know, what he did to you, but, you know, enjoy your life. And you have so much the right of enjoying your title, because you deserve it, and you are the best goalkeeper in the world in that World Cup, for sure. But don't do that. Don't do that. I mean, it doesn't serve you. It doesn't serve you for sure.
Nadem?
Yeah, so interestingly, I think it was either his current goalkeeping coach or his former goalkeeping coach, club level, who was saying the thing with Martinez is that, you know, when he's at his best, he's very, very confident to the point where it almost brushes off as arrogance. He's mentioned that about him, and you can see that in the way that he sort of approaches those penalties, the way he'll joke around afterwards and so on. And, you know, he probably, for me, made the biggest save, most important save in the whole World Cup, and it wasn't in the shootout. It was the one with basically the last kick of the game when someone was through for France. You know, he's such a good goalkeeper. He's in such great form, and he, as Shaka said, he was very deserving of the Golden Glove. But it's little things like this where you look at yourself as a player and think, would you do that? Yes or no? Most people would say no. So you respect the fact he can save penalties, but if you ever go in a penalty shootout against him, you're desperate to score against him because you want to take a bit of edge off him. You want to take a bit of shine away from him. You want to bring him down a peg. And unfortunately, I think that's going to be the sentiment that's shared amongst lots of people because he, in this moment, has almost become like a figure who you love or you hate. There's no longer really any sort of middle ground with it. And it's a shame because this isn't about his ability. It's about the way he sort of carries himself around that. The stuff with Mbappe, as Frank said, like Mbappe scored 4 goals against you. You know, it's not about Mbappe. It's just, you almost want to just say, celebrate what you've just achieved, as opposed to sort of pointing the finger at the opposition who didn't achieve what you have right now. And as I say, it's a shame. He's a really interesting character. I think the people that know him best know that this is kind of within his locker. This is kind of who he is. But the more you see that on the sort of wider stage and in prime time, the more people can gather an opinion of you. And should he make mistakes, which I imagine most keepers do and everyone does at some point, before you know it, it might get harder and harder for him to be able to gain the support and the trust of the people who really want to believe in him for his ability because, you know, maybe they don't like his personality. So as a consequence, he's not as good a player anymore in their eyes.
To that point, listen, I can already hear the Martinez apologists talking about, well, Kylian Mbappe before the tournament said the South Americans stood a lesser chance than the Europeans because the competition isn't as strong. And this was kind of Martinez's response to that in defending South American countries. And I don't think that's at all relevant. As much as I can hear it already, anticipate what's going to be said, that is no way excuses the kind of personal response from Martinez in this circumstance. If he wanted to answer to that, then speak from a South American perspective against a European perspective. This, as again, the taunting, the effigy of Kylian Mbappe, it's just, for me, it goes beyond the professional piece.